I love bone broth, and if I can help it, I drink it every single day. And the best way to make it is to make sure that you get plenty of that collagen, plenty of tallow, all of those kinds of things. And I'm going to show you how to make it. It is so easy. I like to make mine in a slow cooker or a crock pot. Some people like to make theirs in an Instapot or even on the stove. I have not had good luck on the stove. And the Instapot is okay, but the slow cooker is my favorite. You get the most out of it. Here I've got some knuckle bones that I'm going to be putting in. There's just 2 of them. They're kind of tall, so I'm not sure these both fit. I might go ahead and take one of these out because that doesn't go underneath all the way. And your bones should sit lower than the lip of the slow cooker. And all you do is cover that entirely with water. Now, some people like to add seasonings and salt and apple cider vinegar, and I have tried that, and I have not found that apple cider vinegar seemed to help much at all. I didn't notice any difference. And as far as the seasoning goes, I feel like that's only good if you want some kind of a soup base. I prefer my broth unseasoned because I will use it to make my herbal tea and bone broth cocoa, and adding salt and onion and celery is really going to ruin my cocoa. Now, if you're looking for a broth for cooking your rice in or for a soup base, then you definitely want to add those onions and garlic and celery, salt and pepper, other seasonings if you want it. And I would even roast the bones beforehand. Just preheat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit and cook it for about 30 to 40 minutes. And if you have a problem with bitter bones, the roasting definitely helps get rid of that. You can see that's kind of popping out over the top. That's okay. It's ideal if you can get it to lay under, but I don't think, because this knuckle bone is so big, it's not going to stay under. So I'm just going to place it on the one side that sits the flattest. Generally, you want to cover it and then add a little bit extra if you can. Then you just cook it. I like to cook it on low. You can cook it on high if you'd like to, and it does cook it faster, but I have found that time and cooking it slower tends to pull more of the marrow and more of the tallow and rich goodness out of those bones. Now, as for the type of bones that you use, it really doesn't matter if you want to add all of your bones in there, the chicken bones and the pork bones and all of those kinds of things, but I have had the best luck with beef marrow bones, beef knuckle bones, and chicken feet as far as making a collagen-rich bone broth. And I will generally let this boil for a day, and then I'll take all the water out and I'll boil it again, and I'll do that 2 or 3 times. Here is what we have. So see this oily layer on top? This is the tallow. This stuff is so good. I use it as a butter substitute. I'll use it as a lip balm. I actually use it for making homemade salves. But drinking tallow is a little bit like drinking straight oil. It's a little hard to handle. The part you want to drink is this light colored stuff underneath it. I like to ladle that right into my cup so that it's nice and hot and ready to use for my herbal tea or for my bone broth cocoa. The rest of it is going to go in the fridge or the freezer. This tallow, we're going to separate it here, but the reason we got so much tallow is because I used a knuckle bone, which has lots of fat and lots of cartilage, and I love to use that. So these are some of my favorite bones to use. We're going to go ahead and dump this out and put a fresh batch in. We'll slowly get less fatty, less fatty, less fatty. And then there comes a point when they're soft and you can pretty much chew that bone. We definitely want to get that marrow out of the bones. I've got myself a bowl and a colander. Then I'm going to pour the bone broth in there. Typically what I like to do before I pour the whole thing, because it can get really heavy, and I think that's a real major burn danger. You don't want to do that. So I'll take the bones. Woo, they're kind of slippery with all that oil and fat and wonderful tallow. And I'm going to put that in first, okay? This is going to lighten up my crock pot and make it a lot easier, a lot easier for me to gather up. I'm sorry, for me to strain this without dropping it on myself or hurting myself. Okay, got a few little bones in there. Not too worried about it because I'm just going to fill that in again. So once we have that, I'm going to let that drip for just a minute. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, you're just gonna make more. And then I'm gonna put it back in the crock pot. Colander got pretty hot. I prefer to use metal colanders for this so that my plastic colanders don't melt under the heat. Now you can see the difference here. You can see the top layer of tallow that is all oil and fat and so good for you. And this part is the bone broth. As it sits in the fridge, it's going to separate even further and you're going to see some mineral deposits and things like that at the bottom. We'll show you in a little while what this looks like after it has cooled. And now this is ready to be covered. Before I cover it, I'm gonna kind of shake up these bones a little bit. You can see how that piece was ready to break apart. I want to go ahead and do that so we can get more of the minerals and more of the marrow out of all the corners. You also want to get the cartilage and all of those fats. Okay, the idea is to get as much of this stuff into the bone broth as possible. And to do that, we break up those bones and cover it with water again and boil it another 24 hours. If your slow cooker is still hot when you add the water, like what I do, then you need to make sure your water is also hot so you don't crack your slow cooker. Put the lid back on and then just turn it on. Let that sit for another 24 hours and you will have a second batch of bone broth that's less fatty, but still super healthy for you. 24 hours has gone by. And here's what we have. You can see it still has lots of fatty tallow and you can see the bone broth over here. So once again, I'm going to strain it like we did yesterday. I'm going to put all of this in the fridge and then pour a new batch of bone broth on top. So this is yesterday's bone broth. The tallow turned a nice creamy yellow. You see the bone broth under here. And we're going to take off that top layer and put it in a different dish. And I do that so that I can purify the tallow. And I'll show you how to do that in another video coming up. So you'll want to subscribe so you don't miss that. But all I do is try to take, for the most part, just the tallow. But you can see sometimes there are little bits and pieces that are stuck to the bottom of the tallow. And that's okay. I'm going to take care of that when I process it. Now, you already know how I like to use it fresh. I also like to put this in the fridge so that I can use it for my cooking, especially the bottom part of the bone broth, everything that seeps to the bottom, the marrow, the minerals from the bones. Those are excellent for using for cooking my rice or cooking other dishes for dinner every day. And so I like to keep a batch of this in the fridge, and you can see all that collagen. See how it kind of turned jello-y? It's fantastic. This stuff is good for your joints. It's good for your skin. Now this will last for up to a week in the fridge. Mine usually doesn't last that long. I use it pretty fast. Supposedly you can also freeze it, but every time I've tried to do that, it turns out really weird. So I just like to use it up within a week. Now, typically I make at least 3 batches of bone broth with every set of bones, but I don't always have room in my fridge for 3 giant bowls of bone broth. So what I'll do is I'll make a batch, and before I start the next batch, I'll put the bones in the fridge. And then when I've had a chance to use the broth that I already have, then I can start my second batch or my third batch of bone broth. I used bone broth to help heal my gut. And if you'd like to learn other ways that I helped heal my gut, you're gonna wanna watch this video next and subscribe so you don't miss any of my other desert forest garden adventures.